started, the CDLP was probably a lot smaller, and now it's grown and it's got really big, and it's great to see so many international students here. I thought it was, it was a really, I think, a great atmosphere. I think there was a few of us that started at the same time on the PRTLI funding, and we stuck together the whole way through it and kind of came out the other end of it. And I think, the supports the centre gives and the space to explore things, not only related to your thesis, but other subjects that maybe you're not focusing your research on but want to learn about was really incredible. I mean, I learned about issues like legal capacity, areas that I'm not an expert in or will never be, but I have some kind of language I can take away from that. So I think that's one of the synergies, I think, is a really, really good thing that happened in the centre. Yeah.
I started just before Mary, maybe 3 or 4 months before Mary, and at that stage the centre was out in Westside, so we didn't even have a building. So when we got to move in here, it was like a new dawn. So it was very different. It's a very different place now. There's so many people around, and so many different issues being explored by the students. I can say absolutely that one of the most helpful things to me in going through the process was having colleagues. So I started at that time, like Mary said, there were a group of us who started together. There was 1 or 2 people who were doing other similar type of work. And in the early days as well, we used to have these round table meetings. But I remember at one of them presenting my theoretical framework, and it just was the most helpful thing when you have an atmosphere where you can present an idea and you can be quizzed on it, and that's seen as a process of learning for everybody. That's just invaluable.
Yeah.
I remember one time Mary rang me on a Saturday, and I was in the car with my daughter, and we had this long conversation about, I don't know, some kind of theoretical thing
or something. Yeah.
And she said to me, she's 21 now, she said to me after, well, Mum, I'm glad you have somebody you can talk to about those kind of things. Because there's very few other places you can do that. And here it was perfectly fine to come out, to approach somebody with some kind of obscure notion or something you had read that most people wouldn't be reading, and to have a long discussion on it. And that was certainly a huge support to me.
Yeah, I think, the centre was really good for that, and our colleagues, because it is like doing a PhD is actually, it can be a lonely journey, and particularly when other people aren't necessarily interested in you talking about very abstract issues. So we had the space, I think, to do that, and we had many evenings where we would all just get together, like not anyway timetabled, but we would actually naturally do it and sit in the centre and have long kind of philosophical discussions, which were pretty good.
They were pretty good, and I miss them. Already I miss them.